Hi everyone, Crafty Cara here, and I'm here to do my February WIP updates. I'll try to do this as quickly as possible because I want to show you a haul video too, but I want to try to do another video. But what I'll show you is what I bought last month that's going to help me with showing you what I've done today. It's a little mead planner. It's got the cover that you can slip out. My fingers are sore, so you can pull this out and put your own photo in, or even scrap paper or something like that. But I really like that. I think I paid like $7 for it, but I kind of needed something on paper to keep track of my stitching and all the styles that are going on, whether they're from the Just Fun or just cross stitch It's Fun Facebook page, or the Cross Stitch and Discuss 2, or my projects that I'm just working on in general. So it's got the monthly tabs, as well as you can open it and see individual weeks. And what I plan on doing with this, January, my stitching. So Rose Day 1 started on January 1st. And I worked on her for a week, so I wrote that line all the way through. I could write day 2, 3, 4, whatever. And then I started on Snow White. I worked on Snow White until she was finished on the 22nd. Then I started this sunflower greeting card that I did for somebody, and that took a couple days. And then I worked on Star Trek and finished that on the 31st. And I also have in here, like, I wrote Fun Sal on the 30th. There was a Fun Sal up here somewhere else. The Storytime Sampler Part 1 came out on the 15th. Storytime number 2 comes out on the 31st. That's how I have everything in here. And then on the week, I can have the details. Like on the Fun Sal on January 16th, I wrote, quote. That way I knew what was to be done. Though I did join that one, where I did it later. Yes, I did that later. Or Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and I wrote the name that came out, so it was Alice in Wonderland. As I was getting behind that because I was so focused on Snow White. So this is what I'm using so I can show you what I've done this month. My husband would hate seeing this because I've stitched a lot. But I probably showed you one of these already, but I'm going to start from February and go through what I've done today, and sometimes I'll cover a little bit more. But so on February 1st, there was a Fun Sal, and it was for Valentine's Day, and I stitched this from the Just Cross Stitch February 2014. It was called Love and Hearts, and I did the heart. It's about 2 by 3, and I stitched it. Essentially, I stitched it over 2 because this is 28 count. Cashel, I think it is. And I used 2 threads because even though I think it was charted for 1 thread, I wanted the bolder look so it stands out. But you can see the nice little designs that are in there. It's a lot of fun. It took me about 2 nights of working on it. Don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably put it on a card now that I'm making some cards. It'll be fun. See if I can have a place to get some things out of the way. Me making my piles. Okay. So I did that a couple nights, and then since I finished Star Trek and Snow White last month, I knew I wanted to complete Rose. So I did. It took me a total of 13 days to complete her of stitching, and this is my first attempt at beading, my first attempt at hand-dyed fabric, my first Krennic stitched. I mean, I did some blending filament on Snow White, but I've heard some of you, I won't say complain, have some of your issues with Krennic, but with this is on 16 count Ada, because most of this was full stitch anyway. So I think there's only like 3 or 4 fractional stitches on here. If there's more fractional stitches, I probably would have gotten a 32 count, but it went through really smoothly, that Krennic. And look, I mean, you guys can really see it shine. So pretty. But She was really fun to stitch. Will I stitch another one? Probably someday. I probably won't do anything really big because I think that was a perfect size for me to start with. Because, yeah, I have too many other big projects. So, it was perfect. Oh, I want to show you what my daughter said. When I stitched this up, she's like, oh, she's holding a purse. I was like, no, she's not. And then she points out this kind of gathering of the dress makes it look like a little handbag. And it, believe it or not, it is perfectly touching her hand as if it was a little purse. Huh. So, that's what's special about this piece, is that I say she's holding a purse now. Don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this. I think I'm going to give it to my sister. She's been showing interest in some of my crafts since she's moved back to Indiana, and she's been going through a rough patch. So this might brighten her day, but her birthday's not till July, so we'll see if I can hold out. Maybe I'll give it to her for Mother's Day. That's an idea. But yeah, I'd have to have it matted and framed because with the beading, I know for sure I can't. I won't say I can't. I'm not comfortable with framing it on my own because I want to give the piece a breathable space in a frame. But she was done. That was a lot of fun, and that was Mirabilia by Nora Corbett with, and it was called Rose. So once I finished that, I had 3 projects completed in 3 weeks, and so it was a little bit, I don't know, an overdrive or just, I don't know, it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, 3, I did this is, I was like all over the place. So I needed to slow the pace down or cleanse the palette, sometimes I will say, of my cross-stitching big projects. And what I've done with Snow White is I would go away and I would stitch something else very tiny, take in, catch my breath, and then I can dive back in so that way I'm not burning myself out on projects. So I had some PDFs that I downloaded from a website called cyberstitches.com. I'll try to link them below if I can. But they have some free patterns on there, and they're very simple. Nothing extravagant or anything like that. But they give the designers credit anyways. So, the pattern will tell you the size. It's been a while since it's been on the website. It'll tell you who designed it. So you can even look up patterns. Sorry, I'm trying not to shake the camera too much. Look up patterns based on your favorite designer. And it's not like Joan Elliott stuff or anything. It's just like everyday people. So, and I stitched this one. It's called Floss Daily. I love it. It was adorable. This is an 18 count. Because most are charted for 14 count. So doing this on 18 count, it's like 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. So it's tiny, but it was fun. And I used this, I used the silver acrylic for the needles, and I forget what color it had charted. But they're needles, they should be shiny. And then I have little tiny road stitches along the bottom. I think there's a road, yeah. And those are fun. I might frame this up and hang it in the bathroom, because this is Floss Daily. But I did that, it took 2 nights. And then after that, I did another pattern. If I can figure out how to do it, I will try to show it here. And it was called Cross Stitch Friends. It was also on cyberstitches.com or Cyber Stitchers. And if it's not there, I will describe it quickly. It's little two girls or women on a couch cross stitching. Very simple design. I mean, very similar, like nothing too delicate looking. Sitting on a couch, there's like a lamp hanging over, and then there's a little frame in the background over here where there's sample stitches on it. So it looks like cross stitching there, and the 2 girls are sitting on the couch and holding a little cross stitch. And I don't have it with me because I mailed it off with my giveaway all the way over to England. So again, I'm hoping I got that picture in there for you. If not, I'll try to insert it at the end, or I will make sure I post it on Instagram so you can see it. But I finished that. I made that into a card. Do I have? I think I'm out of here. Oh. So what I did, I just bought these little square cards with envelopes. They came from Hobby Lobby, but they're square cards. And I used, very carefully, I cut out a square to glue that on. And it's nothing, it's not an aperture card. Like, okay, it's an aperture card, but it's not like the ones that you see online where it folds in. I wish I could do that. Or I wish I had enough paper to do that. But I even have some white ones to do that with. But that was fun. Got to make a card. It was my second card I made, I think. And then I was itching for a new start. I mean, itching. I don't know why. I was bored. And I've had a couple other projects I'm going to be working on. I have my Heaven and Earth, which I did not touch this month, which I should. I haven't. Or something else I could have been working on. But I was like, whatever. I'm going to start something new. So I had this already kitted out. And this is a 5x7 photo box. Because here's the 4x6. So it's just a little bit bigger. And this is Trail Creek Farms, A Most Happy Home. And it's that, I mean, why they show this picture and then the cross stitch is that little teeny tiny thing right there. But that's what it is. I'm doing this on 32 count Lugana in a taupe color, excuse me. And it's on a bigger sheet, but I know it's itching. I'm so sorry. Now that I have a sewing machine, maybe cut that and sew it, but I was afraid of cutting it before I could sew it. So, and you can see the door and the start of the roof line, things like that, in the chimney. I don't know, but I wasn't in the mood to stitch very much. I don't know, so I started new. As I was opening the threads, I would be putting them in plastic bags with an index card, because as most of us now we're using Trisha's method of using those 3x6 cards that she has on a PDF that we can cut out. But I'm using these for my kits. That way I can reuse the bags. But I also have my floss away, so there are sometimes I use my floss away bags, but this just seemed easier. They all fit. And all these colors, which I was surprised when I kitted it up forever ago, that these colors, and you can see that there, are so vibrant. Hopefully I can show you without making a bigger mess. Look at that. Really bright, deep colors. So, I like it. I should have saved it for something. Again, now I understand why some people just go, oh, I was dying for a new start. At least I have it contained. That's what makes me happy. It's all contained in there now. And I don't have it strung all over the place. But then it all fits inside there, and I still keep the sticker of the fabric size so I don't forget, because I am not familiar with all the different fabric types yet to know them when I see them. Some, but not all. But that's all ready to go whenever. So it can travel, but I did have it in a Q-snap, so I was practicing with a Q-snap for a while. That was that. I worked on it for a couple days, and then the 20th came around and I started the new fun SAL, which was the Gloria and Pat SAL. And I was originally going to do a pattern called I Love You, which is very precious moment lettering, like the bubbling letter. And I was going to turn that into a card, but then I found this pattern at Goodwill a while back. And I didn't realize until I brought it home that it's adapted by Gloria and Pat, the gnomes. So, and it's this pattern here that I'm doing, however, it's got the gnome written across the top of the head, so I probably just didn't have it in this picture, but that's what it's going to look like. I like the colors. Really, really nice and neat. I was able to get a working copy made, because at least Office Depot, which I didn't realize it's on my ruler, at first they didn't want to, but then another lady came over and said, since it's older than 25 years, they are able to copy it for me. And it was because the pattern that I wanted to do, most of the patterns are within the size. Again, I'm throwing stuff all over the place. Are within a sheet. This pattern that I'm doing here, they have expanded through the whole thing. And I'm like, I don't need it that big. So I asked them to shrink it down for me. And they did. And it's been a big help because now I can prop it up on my little magnetic board here. And pop it up in my little stand. My little book stand kind of thing like this. And I can just go to work. Again, I was not in a stitching mood that week. I think things were going on around the house and wasn't as motivated. So I don't have as much done on him as I'd like, but this is what he looks like. And I just realized there's a little stain there. I don't know what happened, but I'm sure that will come out. It's a very light stain. If not, I have some lovely homemade stain removal that should pull that right out. And these little spots in the hat are where the word gnome is going to be written across. But yeah, really like it. I'll probably hang that up probably in the vicinity of where my grandmother's picture is, because she had that book when we were kids. And she likes gnomes, so. But I do have a finish. My little project that I would stick in something like this and take to work, I finished. It was for my nephew. I forget the name of the kit now, and it's somewhere buried in the bag. But it's a little giraffe. And after looking at Glory and Pat stuff, this kind of looks like a Glory and Pat giraffe to me. A little bit, but it's not. I off-centered him enough so I can put his name, which there's more than enough room, but it works. But I just used, like, I had some blue and this teal left over, but I chose the teal to do his name. That way it kind of matched. I could have done it in black, but I like the lighter color. And my mother was going to do this, but I told her, let me have it so I can stitch between some bigger projects and give me, you know, take a breath. And so I did. And that's perfect for work now, because I think that's all I'm going to be taking to work is like small projects like that. Or I might take something like the gnome, something simple where there's not very many colors to take. I will not take any more Thomas Kincaids with me. I don't get enough done in a lunch break to do anything. So that was completed, and then Storytime Sampler came out again with a third installment, and that reminded me I need to get to work on that. So I was getting things together so I could start that, or I want to say start it. I had about 20 stitches in it. I needed to get working on it. But then the new month started, but I'm not going to stop there because I want to kind of catch up for what I've done today. And we're at 18 minutes. So on the first, it was a sampler sound. And I didn't think I would participate in that. Oops. But then I kind of wanted to. I thought, oh, I could find something. And I thought about doing a Cyber Stitchers sampler. There was you can look them up, but it's called Turk Sampler or Turk Sampler number 2. But they're really big. Bigger than what I want to do right now between other projects. I'm trying to keep most of the fun sales to smaller projects. Believe it or not, this is probably the largest project that I have right now in the fun sales, with the exception of the I would like to do the Twisted Band sampler for the specialty stitches, but we'll see. So I decided to do a little tiny sampler, and this comes from the New Cross Stitchers Bible. I love this book. Love it. And I remembered one in here. I know a couple of you have this book, and because I've seen you show it, which has made me more excited about it. It's on page 91, and it's called The Tiny Band Sampler. And when they say tiny, they mean tiny. It was charted for 14 count. and it's 2.5 inches by 1 inch. And what's really neat about this, they have that, and then in the back they have the charts. So I used the back here. I didn't have all the exact colors that it charted, but I used colors very similar. And this is how it turned out. Let's see if I can hold it without covering it all up. It's so cute. I love it. There is an eyelet at the top. So I'll hold this and show you. Right below that is half rowed stitches. Below that is just a back stitch, a zigzag back stitch. Below that are rice stitches using purple and gold. And then below that is a long-legged cross stitch. And below that are double crosses, which is done with purple and gold. Below that is rice stitch done in green and yellow. And then below that is double crosses again, just in pink. Below that, another long-legged cross stitch in green. And below that, double cross stitch in yellow. And then you have that little box is framed with gold. And I just used my gold filament for that. I wanted to use Madeira number 2, but I didn't have it. I might from a little kit. I mean, not a kit, from a magazine, but this is just fine. You can probably see the gold. Yeah. And then inside that box you have some satin stitches and the pink and Algerian eyelets in the purple. And then around the edge, where'd I go? Oh, using a hem stitch around the edge. Now in the photo they used what looks like a cream, but I decided to go a little bit more bold and use the pink. And you can see that hem stitch. It's the first time I've done a hem stitch. A lot of, actually, most of any of those stitches. And here's the back side. So, it was a lot of fun. So that was my little sampler. I bought some felt the other day, and I'm thinking I will make this a bookmark. Because it'd be perfect to stick in that. But, so cute. And I think that's a perfect lead-in to me wanting to attempt the Twisted Band sampler. So yeah, that I did on the 1st. I started it before I went to work that night, and then after I got off work I finished it, so it was cute. Also, because I finished that giraffe, my new work kit is a Bucilla, so another new start, and it's a little monkey. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's called Monkey, but it looks like a little sock monkey. I haven't gotten up there, but I'm thinking about trying to turn that hat into a bow, because it's going to be for my niece. And this is all I have so far. So that's just his shoulders of his shirt, and then I'm just starting his little legs here. So not much on that one. But again, it all depends when I have breaks at work. I mean, not when I have breaks, but when I work that I have breaks. Sometimes I'm scheduled when I don't. I'm not scheduled long enough to have a lunch or a break, things like that. And then on the 1st, it's not a whole lot, but I finally started Pinocchio. I wanted to start it on the 1st. So again, here's my little box. So I have the picture. All the threads are in here. That was the gold I used on that sampler. Oh. Gold 002HL. So I came home and I stitched 3 stitches in the center there. And that's the water right around where the houses are. I think I need this to show you a little bit better. I'm hoping to work on that some more this month. Get a good start on it. And I don't think I showed you this in my last video when I was kitting up Pinocchio. Is right now I'm keeping a lot of the stuff inside a clipboard, because then I can clip the one sheet I need on top of this. And it comes in handy. I really like this toward the end of Snow White. Because if I was just messing with one thread at a time, I just toss it in there. But it will sit inside one of my little stands. And it lasts longer than a folder, though. I kept a lot of stuff in the folders. This was not going to wrinkle up my papers. But here's Pinocchio again. So I think it is right along the inner part of that harbor right there. So yeah, I like to start in the middle. I'll probably again work my way up and around for that. But yeah, he started. At least he started, because now that I've started it, I won't touch another Thomas and Kincaid until he's done. So, yay! Again, I told you that I didn't touch my Haid design. I am planning on fitting that in. Just trying to work out the plan of how to stay motivated with it. Because again, it's not something you can pick up and set down very quickly, like some of these other projects. So, after putting those few stitches in, I did want to start more on the Frosted Pumpkin stitch along with those Storytime Classics. They just released the third one, and I haven't even started the other two. And I know why. When I first started this, I did choose to do the Week Die Works for the frames, so they're slightly variegated. And I'm so used to stitching half stitches, and then on my way back. So I had to kind of retrain my brain to stitch one stitch at a time, and I had about 20-ish stitches in, and decided to frog all but 2, kind of start over and begin again. So this is where I am now. So I've got a lot done, and let's see, I started this on Monday. Yeah. And today is Friday, so I worked on this about 5 days now. It took me all day Tuesday or Monday to stitch those 2 frames. I started off with frame 6 because it was in the middle, and then I jumped up to frame 2 or February, and then I did the frame for January, and then I decided I could stitch inside either one of those. And since I had these 2 ready, and I don't have Sherlock printed off yet, it was just fine. And I really like it. I mean, I told Coffee Stitcher that I really enjoy seeing what he's changed in it, and I do. Once I started stitching, I thought, I'm going to try to stick with what they've designed, because maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll like it when I'm done. I did only use, the one thing I do remember that I did just had an instinct is I only used 1 stitch for the back stitch around the eyes, the clock, and the mouth. It said it wanted 2, but I think it looks just fine. And that's the other thing, I did lower her mouth, because I think he did that too, and he's right. I looked at that and I was like, everybody's mouth is up here in their nose. So I lowered her mouth a little bit. She looks, because his nose is up by his eyes, but he's a rabbit, who cares? Well, I love rabbits, but hey. And it's a little weird that her shoe is hidden behind that frame, which conveniently is the size of her shoe. But, oh well. And the little Cheshire Cat. And the leaves. I love the little pocket watch. It's so cute. And as I was stitching, if this color was done, I would use that color over here if it was needed. So that's why you only have bits and pieces over here. Because her hair wasn't done earlier, and the gate wasn't done. Which I do think I will add the planks to the wood, but I really, really love this. And as I step back, I don't know if you can see it, you can just start to see the variegation, just enough, which is what I need. You can see it more in the pink, for sure, and the grits, because I forget what that one, but in the grit color, you can see a little bit. And the sea foam was hard, but it's like right there. Get this out of the way. And like right there, you can really start to see it. But I really like it. But But see, now that I've got a good head start, I will probably finish working on this today and then start on Pinocchio some more this weekend. I am off for the first time in over a month for the full weekend. I've got some housework to do, but I will try to make some time for Pinocchio. And doing this in 5 days or a week's time almost, I feel confident that even if I don't pick this up till next month, I can get caught up because I can stitch that frame in about less than a day. Now that I'm comfortable with stitching one stitch at a time. That was, like I said, it was the hardest thing for me to like retrain my brain. Because I would even have to frog a few as I was stitching because I was like, oh, darn it. I was naturally just doing half stitches for a couple of them and then have to go back. And then trying to keep a pattern so it would, you can see the variation go through. It was interesting. But then, since, if I have this caught up, because this will be caught up, hopefully tonight, except for the banner at the top, to this extent. And then, even if I don't pick it up till next month, I'll have Sherlock, and then whatever they do for April, and maybe I can get that done in a week. Because if this only took me a week, that will, if I get caught up, it only takes me a couple days. So, I feel much better that I have got some stitches in on this because, first of all, I paid for this. Second of all, I knew that I liked the design, but now that I've stitched it, I love the design. And I'd probably hang it in the girls' room when I'm done. I like that it's fabric. This is my first hand-dyed fabric that I purchased for a specific project like this. Oh, that's the difference too. This is a big difference to the pattern in a way. I did buy the Storm, but I bought this in the 18 count, not the 16 count. I wanted something a little bit smaller. So forgive me, I don't have the size difference off the top of my head of what it's going to be, but I wanted it to fit in a regular frame when I was done, of a decent size. So, sorry about that. Just had a little phone call. But yeah, I think I was talking about this just count a little bit, but yeah, I'm just glad that I started on it. I feel more comfortable that I have worked on it. And those two little strings, it's because I stitched her eyes and her little blushy cheeks. Those are the only stitches in the area, so I need to get them covered up before I snip those off somewhere. So they're kind of a waist knot without a knot. I don't want to tie it off. But I know what they're there for. But yeah, I'm really liking it. And then really quick, my last thing is, I think I've showed you this finish before, but it's a finish now. It is a little kit from Cross Stitch Card Shop from the summer issue last year. And I finally cut it and pulled the threads from the edge. And then I just used, you can't really see them, but I used these little scrapbook glue dots to glue him down. And it's just this cute little card. A little envelope. So, something I would like to do is to have a few cards on hand to give out for things like that. Birthday card maybe, cute little card like that, which can be used for anything. It can be used for, a birthday, it can be used for a thank you, it can be used for, I think even a baby, like a, not a baby shower, but like a, congratulations, your baby's just born. What else did I think of? Thank you, even a sorry, or, something that like, cheer you up kind of thing. So it can be used for different occasions. But that was fun. It was one of my first little finishes from a magazine project. So that's my February WIP update. I almost said January, which led into March a little bit. So my plans for March are to work on Pinocchio. Again, because I want to complete a square each month. So I'm going to be working on that, and hopefully I can stitch enough on that to complete that, because in the past on Snow White, when I was really getting some good speed on that, I was stitching 2 to 3 weeks to get one part of that done. So that's a goal. It's a, I want to say it's a tight goal. It's not a loose goal. It's just a goal. So I can stay on track. And I am thinking about doing backstitch as I go from each section, but we'll see. There's not a whole lot of backstitching in this one as there was Snow White with the French knots and etc. But and then if I get caught up on that, then I'm going to probably pick up Frosted Pumpkin again before they put the new one out at the end of the month. I do need to pick up on my Haid. I really do, because I want to get that done. But again, just not in the mood to work with that right now. I think it's one of those things I have to clear my head completely before I start on that again, and I will probably need to dive into it and stay on it for a while. But I really want to give Pinocchio a decent start, because he is not hanging around for 4 years like Snow White did. Things I've learned. So that's my February WIP update, and I want to thank everybody for watching this incredibly long video. I did not want it to be 30 minutes long, but I will try to do a haul video for you next. If you have any questions, put them below. But thanks for watching. See you guys later.